Riverside
Mm-hmm.
to Pingree.
Oh, to Pingree, okay. In the big rock house.
Right.
And
So-
that was really a change for us because we had our own bedrooms.
So do you remember, either one of you remember by any chance what year you moved to that, I call it the Big Rock House, out in Pingree? Do you remember about what year that was?
I remember that I was a sophomore. I went to Moreland High School, and right in my sophomore year, we moved to Pingree, and then I attended Thomas High School.
Oh, be darned.
It was about 1945,
1945,
or
wow.
around that.
So was my dad, Dee, was he in Riverside? Or had he gone off to the Army, or the Marines by then?
What'd you say?
Had my dad gone off to the Army, or the Marines by then? Or,
He was in the Army, or Marines. Army? Oh, no, he was a Marine.
Vern was
Dee
in
and
the
Reed were
Army.
Marines.
right,
Anyway, we were in Riverside then, because if I remember his dog
yeah.
moaning around and
Ole Mungo?
yeah, Mungo, until that was when he was wounded on Iwo Jima.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came, we found out about it, and the dog stopped moaning. Can you remember that?
Yeah, that dog was just jumping up and down when he come on.
So we can verify that that story is true.
Yeah, we sure can.
Sherry, have you thought of something?
I am. I do. Okay, and Beth, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as someone that loves all of her family members, including aunts, uncles, cousins, and etc.
Okay. Mom, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered just like Beth does, that love all of our families. These are the only ones that are going to stick together with us in the end.
Okay, and I just have one more request. Mom, would you look at Beth and tell her what you think of her?
Oh, I think she is a wonderful person, and words cannot say to be sitting here beside her, Sherry.
Okay, and Aunt Beth, what about you to my mom?
She just said the same words that I would say. I love her.
Oh, I love you both.
Okay, the question I have is, Mom, what is the greatest accomplishment you've had in your life?
I think raising good children. I think that's without having a good husband and raise good children.
How about you, Lorraine? What's your greatest accomplishment?
The same thing, raising my children and seeing them turn out so well, and everybody's doing wonderful. And there's just nothing that I would change with my children. I had dreams of maybe having, some of them have a little problem, but they're all just they couldn't be doing better. And that, I don't think any parent can be unhappy with that.
How about accomplishments in, like, maybe jobs or things that you've done?
I feel really great about the teaching opportunities that I've had. To me, that's been one of the nicest things. I not only taught school, but I taught, while I wasn't teaching school, I taught piano lessons. And it was just a great experience. And it helped me to develop in my own music line. And I feel that, like some of my students have said, one of them said the reason they're teaching is because my influence on them. And so that's it.
about you, Lorraine? What accomplishments maybe outside of raising children?
Well, when I got my divorce, all I knew was how to work in the restaurant. And so I went to work in a restaurant, and they put me as a banquet manager, and that was my open to do good. And I spent 32 years as a convention planner, not knowing nothing, but they trained me to do it. And I tell my kids, you know, go to school and get an education, because it was a lot harder for me. If I'd have stayed in school and had a degree, it wouldn't have been so hard. But that's how I made it through.
Okay, we talk about accomplishments in life in just a few short words if you can. Aunt Beth, what do you think your biggest obstacle was in your life?
I think to raise a good family and show respect and love for them. And not only that, but I feel that when you can be of service and be charitable to others, I still want to accomplish that in life.
Okay. Mom, what do you think your biggest obstacle in life has been?
Has been, well, just getting you kids raised and knowing that you're doing so well. I didn't really have, I mean, just financially, I hurt a little bit trying to raise all of you. When you was out pretty much on your own with the 4 kids. And just seeing them get through life and being happy as they are now.
Okay, so at both of you's point in your life, you've seen way more than we've ever seen. You've experienced probably a lot harder times than we have. If you could tell the younger generation, from Richard on down, if you could give them just a little bit of advice in being successful in life, what would it be?
To love life as it is and love each other.
Okay.
I agree. Same thing.
Okay.
Can I ask you some questions about stories that I've heard?
Okay.
This is by way of verifying them and trying to flesh out some of the questions. So you told us about Ole Mungo.
Yes.
Now Dad told me that he sometimes would, that Ole Mungo would defend him against people. Is that?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. Whenever there was anything against him, even with the brothers and sisters, it seemed like that Ole Mungo was right there for your dad, for Dee. And that was it. It was his dog.
Well, I heard one time that Dad had a new rope or something like that, and some kids got a hold of it, and he was trying to get it back, and Ole Mungo got in. Do you remember that?
I remember that. Remember?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, he pulled it apart. He chewed on the rope until it pulled apart.
Okay. So I heard that Dad had a horse at one time that he really liked.
Was that Queen? Was that?
Oh, Queen was that
And
big,
Dad ended up,
big,
your
gray
grandpa
one.
ended up having to sell it because things got tight.
Oh, okay, so I don't remember that.
No, that was maybe before your time.
We had 2 workhorses.
King and Queen.
Yeah, King and Queen.
Yeah.
King, Queen, and then we had Old Rocks,
Uh-huh.
which was a great big gray horse.
Yeah.
And the one I rode was a small buckskin.
Uh-huh.
And I can't remember
Was that
which
when you were in
one.
Arkville?
That was in Howe, yeah.
In Howe. What's your memories of living in Howe? Is there anything interesting stories you'd like to tell?
Like I said, with the garden, with the canal, and
Oh, okay, that's where that happened, huh?
that's where that happened,
Mhm.
yes. Where I was, like to play in the bridge across the canal and watch the water wheel going around and around. And I fell backwards and I fell in and grabbed a hold of a stake in the water, and I was only about 4 or 5, and I couldn't get out, and Dee jumped in and got me out, and then he had to get dressed again to go where he was going.
Yeah, I've never heard that
And
story.
I sure appreciated that.
John did too.
I wouldn't be here.
Tell me about my dad, something that I don't know about my dad, that only you would know.
You want me to
Right?
talk
Yeah,
first?
let's talk to
I
him.
can't.
Okay. I had a great respect for your dad and mom. Not just your dad, but your dad and mom. They kind of overseed me when I had my twins and lost them. Your dad was up there and with me through the whole thing. And he had come out to Arco many times to him and Carol to make sure. They kind of took me under their wing, and Mrs. Barlow did too. So I felt almost a part of them being my family as well as my own. And Dee and I had a very close relationship. He could convince me of anything. And he used to come out and see us all the time when we lived in Arco. I remember Harold and him went wood hunting for winter wood, and remember when your dad got hit in the knee with the axe, and it was Harold that swung the axe and Dee got in the way.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Did he have a nasty gash?
Yeah, he did. He was an awesome brother.
Beth, what do you